Alright, what's up YouTube? Cool down here. Well, I've had a few people ask, what is your build? I've had a couple people wanting to run the game, wanting suggestions, what enchantment should I use, what grips do you use, what handles, so figured why not just show you all of them. So first off, here I'll cover the standard any percent run, what I use on it, everything else, and then I'll show you the little bit that I switch on the GMGOW war run. It's not a huge switch. Most of the stuff is the same. This chest piece being one of the things that I do switch. But right now, start off with full Zeus set, because we are going to be using that. This is for the standard any percent run. It does not change. Nothing actually changes in this run. The setup that I show you is the setup for the entire run. So, on the axe, as far as the axe goes, we're using Hell's Touch, Glaive Storm, Versatile Warrior's Handle, because who doesn't want 22 in every stat? Now you could use Forbidden Grip of the Ages. It does have the Shockwave at the end, and you just lose 2 per stat. So it's really kind of choice which one you want to use. Do you want the wave, or do you want the extra 2 in the stats? I use the extra 2 in the stats just because I like it, and I don't use the wave all that much. I usually end on R2s. So, plus it rounds me up to a nice even 400 strength, and even numbers are fun. So, moving on. Shield, well, that's your pick. I just like this one because it's pretty and blue. For the blades, Light Runic is going to be Nemean Crush. Nemean Crush has high burn. It also has a knockback point at the end for ledging and gravity kills on enemies. It's very nice, especially for, say, that second Revenant that you run into in the game. You can just kind of push her off the ledge. So it's good. Hyperion Slam. The actual contact point of Hyperion Slam on the ground has a very high damage rate. And it also has a good explosion out and leaves a pool of fire afterwards. The fire is good for keeping enemies staggered. And say the Helheim boss, where he keeps teleporting back. If you leave that pool back there, it will damage him when he comes back. Time it right. Get it to damage him on the final phase and just send him straight to being dead, which is nice. Grips, we are using Grips of the Valkyrie, mainly because they have super high cooldown. And cooldown is very nice. Want lots of cooldown, you want lots of strength. That's what we're using there. The perk on it is good if it activates, but it is a low perk chance. So odds are you're not going to get it nearly as much as some others, but if you do get it, it is good. Moving on to the boy, Murder of Crows. Use Murder of Crows all the way throughout. It is good for also tracking and ledging enemies. Areas where you got crawlers that come up the ledges, Murder of Crows will knock them off. All know the parts I'm talking about. Yeah, you do. Alright, moving on to the armor. Like I said, all the pieces are Zeus. Go through enchantments real quick. Perfect Mark of Tier Plus and Tier Shard Plus. Use those basically for the stats. The Tears perk it's okay. It's not bad. When you get it, it's cool. But also, low perk, you're not going to get it that much. Leviathan's Eye for the extra strength. And the extra axe throw strength. At 6% on 400 strength. Quite nice. Puts you into that range of one-shot and stuff. Well, with the R2 throws anyway. Onto the gauntlets. Perfect Mark of Protection. Got good defense on it. Allows you to basically unstagger yourself. If you do get hit, you're put into a stagger, you can hit it and recover quicker. Also opens the parry timing window a lot. Anybody knows, this is basically the noob parry tool. But hey, who wouldn't want that, right? Good. Eye of the Winged Chosen. Already comes with high cooldown. Big plus. And you get that little burst of speed. And the increased distance on your dodge, which is super nice. It does not increase your agile strike distance. The distance is the same, the time is the same, the speed is the same, but it does help out in other areas because you do use it way more than you actually think. Now, Boar's Frozen Shard. This one, you kind of have to do some saves coming for it. You can buy it at the shop. I get it with as high a cooldown as possible because, again, cooldown is a little bit harder to come by, and you want a lot of it for all your runic attacks and your talisman. Higher cooldown is very, very nice. Now, the best thing about this is the perk on it. When you use Hell's Touch, it automatically gives you a Blessing of Runic. Blessing of Runic is quite nice. So if you're going to combo runic attacks into each other, you can use Hell's Touch first, and then any runic attacks that follow it will get that Blessing of Runic, and you will get more power and more damage out of them. On down, we have all the rest of the the perfects. Perfect Mark of the Ancients, which gives you the 85% elemental resistance, which is super nice. Also has good strength, runic, and vitality. Perfect Mark of the Traveler, also decent stats, mostly on the defense side because of, the Traveler set. But it gives you the Protective Barrier. You can absorb a single shot. It does take a while to regen, but areas in between, it regens well enough, and you're able to take that single shot if you need. Perfect Mark of Vavassir is great. Last second dodge, gives you Realm Shift. I believe it's 3 seconds. If it's not, I'm sure somebody will tell me. Stats aren't the greatest, but being able to have that Realm Shift for certain bosses like, say, the A-hole elves. That guy. It works extremely well on him to slow him down and get some Executioner Cleaves in there. Moving on down, we have the Talisman of the Realms. We use this one for the same reason. Mostly to slow down bosses. Getting a good chunk of damage on them. It also has very high cooldown at 25. So it stays, never changes. Enchantments, we're using Heart of the Valkyrie. 1, because it's got decent stats to it. And 2, Protection of the Valkyrie. Biggest part, you get resistance to status effects, which is nice. But being able to not be staggered is also very, very nice, especially in boss fights. Not being staggered, big, big key. So, good thing to have. Heart of Anaheim, got strength, it's got cooldown, and it also has another moderate perk to get runic, strength, or defense on any hit, no matter what you're doing. And moderate is, well, it's better than low and less than high, but it does proc a decent amount. And last, we have Evaldi's. Has good stats, and it weakens anything within 15 meters. They get that nice blue glowing aura to them, and it actually lowers their overall stat level. That's pretty much it for that. You can see the stats on the right. 400 strength, 312 runic, 282 defense, vitality is at 104, luck is at 74, cooldown 153. Now, moving on to GMGOW. Pretty much everything is going to stay the same, except certain parts of the game. We'll be switching over to God of War. Switching to this chess piece is usually done in areas where you know there are going to be guaranteed health drops. Those guaranteed health drops are why you actually use this chess piece, and also for the defense. Being able to put the defense at over 304, or, well, over 300 at 304, allows you to get this nice shield boom, which is great for knockback and ledging. Also on top of that, the perk for the God of War chess piece allows you to get an explosion when you pick up health stones or rage stones. Now in those areas like, say, the elevators, where you have a ton of enemies before Magni and Modi, before the dragon fight, and the first time you meet the heavy draugrs, there are guaranteed health drops there. And for some reason, when you use the God of War chess piece with the 2 pieces of Zeus, it strengthens that effect based on the extra Zeus pieces. So instead of now picking up a Hellstone and, say, having the full COD set on, it would take a chunk out of enemies. This will one-shot anything up to a heavy Draugr. So it's very, very good for anywhere that you're going to have guaranteed health drops and you know it. It's a really good chest to have on there because you can just run around, pick stuff up, and one-shot things. So I will switch to that at certain points in the game. Like I said, it's usually on the elevators when there's large mobs. That's the biggest time to switch. As far as the boy, well, his armor, as you can see, Tunic of the Champion. It has everything on it, and who wouldn't use it? Now, as far as his Runic Summon, it does stay with Murderer Crows. I keep that on most of the time. I will switch it at certain points. I'm still doing testing on it. But switching it for Bitter Squirrel, Ratatasker. He drops health or rage stones for you. And 3 when they're upgraded. So using that in combination with the COD, you can basically set traps for bosses or large areas where enemies are going to group on you. And say the Jotunheim Tower, that is a good place for it. That is a place where I have used it quite a bit. But you can use Ratatasker to drop health in areas where enemies are going to be, you know they're going to be, and then just pick up the health. So you're gaining health and you're killing stuff simultaneously. If you get it right next to a boss, 3 Hellstones can pretty much one-shot a boss. So that would be used. As far as weapons go, and the Runic attacks on Gimme God of War, they do pretty much stay the same. These two definitely stay the same. I haven't switched those on here. I will for some boss fights, especially Baldur, because he can block your R1s. If you're doing, say, an R1 combo, he can actually stop it and stagger you out of it. So I'll use Blessings of Frost because the shockwave that comes off of it will actually cause him to be stun locked and he can't do the blocks on you. So it's good for those fights. It can be good for other ones. I still want to do more testing on stuff, but as of right now, it's really only best for that. It does stack with the Zeus effect, so you do get more strength out of it, but it's not a huge significant amount. So most of the time, it is still going to be on Glavestorm. But I will do more testing. This is one of the things that I do switch it for in the run, and I may still do it. It depends. But yeah, I think that is about it. I mean, skill trees pretty much have everything. The only things that I do not have, multiple enemy hit because I never use it. And if I had the choice, this one right here would not be there either. If you're making a fresh build, I would not recommend getting Returning Whirlwind because it can interrupt Agile Strike. As you're doing Agile Strike, if you happen to hit R1 a little bit too quick or the timing is too fast, it will actually activate this and stop Agile Strike, and then you have to reset, put your weapon away, then start again. If you do not have this, all it will do is do a little skip animation, but it won't stop you from doing Agile Strike. So if you are going to make a build, fresh from scratch, X this out. If I could, I would. Alright, well, I think that is about it. If there's anything else you guys would like me to cover, anything that I missed, or anything else that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to get it covered. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.